Well, hello, I am Diego Lizarazo, and this is another game dev adventure. And I'm going to continue with the tower defense game that we have been working with. Well, today I'm going to add a simple mechanic that we should have added, I guess, from almost from the beginning. That is, lives. Okay. So I already planned some of the following videos, and it seems that we have a lot of things to cover. But I wanted to be done with the basic ones, with the things that you really need to create a, let's say, traditional tower defense game. So let's go back here to our, I'm sorry, game, to our tower defense. Let me move it over here. This is what we had last time. If you remember, I basically just recreated the scenario. I just wanted to have the maze to be a little bit different, and in the last two videos we added the score and then the money system. So now every time that we kill one of the enemies, in this case the aliens, we receive a certain amount of money. So far that amount is set. We're not really checking if it's a boss or not, so that's something that we should perhaps check in the future. In the meantime, what happens whenever we have an enemy coming here to the goal, that is this green square? So they go all the way around, and we basically just make the enemy disappear. We're not talking anything about lives. So that's what we're going to add today. So I'm going to just go up here to our event sheet, and we have all these variables, and I'm going to add another one. Of course, this one is going to be lives. I'm going to move it here, and just to make it simple, I'm going to say 3. Okay. So now, just because it's simple, I'm just going to put the value in a text box over here, and I'm just going to say something like lives 3. But perhaps it would be cooler if we have like little animations, like I don't know if you see on my intro, you have these little faces that represent lives, in this case of this character that I'm just having here, my little alien. So something like that also would be okay, but since I just want to cover how to do it like this, I'm just going to add the text, and I'm going to call this lives label. So that means that every time, that all the time I'm expecting this label to show me the number of lives that I have. Okay, so now we should have an event that takes care of the enemy whenever it reaches the goal. So I don't know where it is. I guess I could search for it, and I'm going to say something arrived, and it's here. So it was number 8, so of course I did not see it. It's here. So basically what I'm saying is, like, at some point I'm telling the enemy that it has to go to a goal, to a specific point in the scenario. Now what happens when I arrive? Right now we're just destroying the enemy, and well, that's cool, but we're not doing anything else. So what I should do here is 2 things. First one, to subtract from the number of lives 1, and then I'm going to update the label that we're using, that is called lives label. So I'm just going to say subtext to lives, and then ampersand lives. I hope that at this point you already know what I'm doing with this. If not, I'm just going to explain it quickly. This part of the text that we're putting inside quotes, it's something that is going to be static. It's not going to change. The ampersand is the way that construct2 is using to concatenate, to put 2 things together, in this case strings. And lives is the name of the variable that we're using to save the number of lives. So basically it's just going to say something like lives equals, or well, is 2, 3, 1, 0, whatever it is. So that's it. Now I'm going to add another, and I'm just going to add it here just because I'm being lazy. Something like that, another event right underneath. And what I'm going to do is to stop the game whenever I get number of lives equals to 0 or less than 0. So I'm just going to say system, compare variable, lives, less or equal than 0. Why less than 0? Because what happens if two enemies arrive right away, one right next to the other? So then it's going to subtract more than one life, and if I just say equals 0, perhaps it's not going to be able to enter here, and we're not going to have a game over. So that's why I always say less or equal than 0. I know that if it's negative, it still should stop the game. Now, the action here, we have several options. One would be just to stop the game, to pause it, and to put a big label that says game over. The other thing, and it's what I'm going to do, so I'm going to leave this event for a second, I'm going to create another screen that I'm going to call game over screen, right? So I'm just going to say, add layout, I'm going to add some events to that, and it's going to call game over, right? So now I can go back here. So far this game over is empty, but I'm going to put it here. And I am just going to say that I need to go to another layout. And in this case is going to be called game over. That's it. Now on the game over, I have to, well actually I'm going to copy it from the score screen. I'm going to, well, but I have a new level. Well, okay, now I'm just going to do it again. So I am just going to add a text. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to make it much bigger than that. And what happened? Something, I don't know. Game over. I'm going to make it bigger so it's visible. Game, if I spell it correctly, would be even better. And I'm just going to give it like some sort of color, something like that. Even perhaps let's make it even bigger so it's quite visible. I'm sorry, something like that, or whatever you can decide. And then I am just going to add another one. Well, I'm actually going to clone this object, and I'm going to say this restart, make it another color, something like this. I guess I also could put here the value of the score that we have so far or something like that, but well, I'll let you to do that yourself, okay? So now in the third event sheet, I think event sheet 3, so I'm just going to rename it so we have a good name, game over event sheet. Okay, well, that's not exactly how I want it. Something like that. The only thing that I'm going to do is to say that when they click on restart, when they tap on restart, then they just go back to the level, so that it would be level 1. Right now I should actually keep track of which level I'm in, so because I could be in level 1, level 2, or if I had more levels, but since you, I'm almost certain, understand the basics of this, I am just, well, I don't know which, cancel, start label, I don't remember which one is which. So now touch object, and I just start label. I'm just going to say to go to level 1. If I wanted to do it to a specific level, what I should do, since I'm naming this one, I should do something like level, and here say ampersand, and put a variable that is telling me the number of the level that I'm in right now. So, well, actually let's do that. So right now it's not going to work, so I'm going to just add something here that is going to be another variable, It's going to be called level, and I'm going to start at level 1, right? And then here I just say level ampersand level. That's it. Now just to make it simpler, I'm just going to move this one over here so no one is going to, this is just a test of course, to be able to see if oh, that's not the one that I wanted. What happened? Here. So now we're going to have here the 3 enemies. No one is shooting. I'm not going to try to stop them, and they should arrive here, and we're going to see how the lives go down, hopefully. And at some point when they reach 0, we're going to see that it is going to take me to the game over screen. So like you see, it's something really simple, but at the same time is needed. Oh, okay, so the tower is still out here, so still not going to kill my enemies, and we should see now lives 2. Now lives should go to 1 and 0. So I think 2 of them. And now I should just say restart, and I go back to what I had before. So that works pretty well. Okay, so that's basically it for today. So like I said, nothing really complicated. Still, I think it was needed, and at the same time I also wanted to cover this. The next thing that I'm going to do is to show you how to use a template that I've created to basically wrap the entire game and to have it almost as a full game. So whenever I publish this video on YouTube and I check the file that you could download, you're going to have almost a full game. We're going to cover many other things, many other details that are going to make your tower defense much more fleshed out than what it is right now. But since we wanted to cover just the basics, we're getting there, and I think right now the entire mechanics that we're using are much more complex than what you would find in the template from Construct 2. So that's really good. And not just that, I think it's quite flexible to make it more interesting if you tweak the game, and if you put some time and create good graphics or find some good graphics to add there. I had a couple of questions about different subjects on the tower defense. I'm going to try to cover them all, but it may take some time. There are some specific questions, and some of them I have to test first and figure out how to create those things, those features. So right now I'm just going to leave it at that. So thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed the video.